Thanks for joining us for CBN NewsWatch. I'm Mark Martin. As Texans continue to grapple with the aftermath of Hurricane Harvey, a new storm is making its way across the Caribbean. Irma is an extremely dangerous Category 5 storm, packing 185-mile-an-hour winds. It hit the Leeward Islands Tuesday night, and now it's taking aim at Puerto Rico. This weekend, it could make a direct hit on Florida. Amber Strong has more from Washington.
Florida residents aren't leaving anything to chance, stocking up on water and supplies and taking the necessary steps to get ready for the extremely high winds expected if Hurricane Irma makes its way ashore there. President Trump has already approved emergency declarations in both Puerto Rico and the U.S. Virgin Islands for what forecasters are calling one of the most powerful storms in the history of the Atlantic. The airports on the island of Antigua have shut down with a simple prayer: may God protect us all. And in Florida, Governor Rick Scott has issued a state of emergency for all 67 counties.
Do not sit and wait to prepare. Get prepared now.
Officials in the Florida Keys have also ordered mandatory evacuations.
It's going to be crazy getting out here. It's going to be gridlocked. Getting out of the Keys, there's only one way in and one way out.
Water, batteries, flashlights, the essentials.
I think right now it's a little bit too early to tell, but it's a good time to be prepared.
All this comes as Texans are still cleaning up in the aftermath of Hurricane Harvey. On Capitol Hill, lawmakers are working to tie emergency funding for disaster aid after Harvey to efforts to raise the debt ceiling. A vote could come as early as today. In the meantime, charities like CBN's Operation Blessing are standing in the gap, with thousands of volunteers helping with the cleanup efforts and working alongside Texans hoping to restore their lives.
The incredible thing is when Operation Blessing volunteers arrive, they go from being incredibly downcast to all of a sudden having hope, all of a sudden knowing that they're not alone.
The OB team says they will continue their work with Texans and are also getting ready for Hurricane Irma as well.
We're praying that that thing somehow turns around and goes out to sea. But if it hits the U.S., Operation Blessing will be there. We'll be in more communities just like we were in the 8 cities here in Texas, loving on people, working with local pastors and churches and emergency management.
Experts are predicting wind speeds of up to 225 miles per hour by the time all is said and done. It's a storm that forecasters warn has to be taken extremely seriously. Amber Strong, CBN News, Washington.
Hurricane Irma is now a monster Category 5 storm. It's the most powerful witnessed in the Atlantic in more than 10 years. Joe Bastardi is chief meteorologist for Weather Bell Analytics, and he joins us now with more. Welcome, Joe.
Well, nice to be here.
First of all, give us your forecast. When and where will it hit, and how strong do you think it will be then?
Well, it'll be a Category 5. It's going to devastate the Virgin Islands. Puerto Rico is going to get a bad storm, but it will not hit them directly. It'll go 60 to 100 miles north of San Juan, it looks like, and then continue into the Turks and Caicos Island as a Category 4 or 5 storm, and a devastating hurricane at that. Now, I do believe Florida is going to get hit, and it's going to be a catastrophic event where it hits. The easiest way out, if you want to call it that, with this hurricane, is that after the southern Bahamas, it goes west into Cuba, weakens for a while, then comes back north. If that's the case, we have a severe hurricane, no doubt about that, for South Florida. If it just stays over the water and goes between Cuba and Florida before coming into Florida, this could be as bad a hurricane as we've ever seen hit South Florida. And in the worst case scenario, I could see the pressure in this, the barometric pressure falling as low as the 1935 Labor Day hurricane, which brought winds of over 200 miles an hour to the Florida Keys. So there's a tremendous amount of potential for this. Keep in mind it would have to thread a needle to do that. But it's very, very rare that threading of the needle is actually on the table.
Well, what's going to happen after it makes landfall?
Well, it's going to continue to devastate Florida up the coast, whichever coast it moves up along. If it moves up along the west coast, you're talking Tampa and on up in there. It'll be weakening. It'll be an 80 to 100 mile an hour hurricane by the time it gets north of Tampa. If it goes up the east coast, very close, that's a bigger problem because we've got more ports up there all the way up to Jacksonville. There's an inflow of warm, moist air from the east. Remember, a hurricane coming up the west side of Florida is pulling air in from off Florida. That's why the 1935 hurricane, and this is the benchmark hurricane in the Florida Keys, went through there as a Category 5, but by the time it made its final landfall up near Cedar Key, it was down to a 1. So I think this is a catastrophic event for whoever gets hit. It looks like it's targeted at South Florida. Our track is into the southwest coast of Florida right now, but I'm very nervous further east. And even if it goes into the southwest coast of Florida, all of Florida is going to get a hurricane if you live east of Apalachicola. I don't think this is a big threat for Pensacola, Mobile, and places like that.
Well, what do you advise people to do who are in the path of Irma?
Listen to whatever authorities on that matter have to say, okay? You prepare for the worst, pray for the best, and that's what I would do.
Okay, what can our viewers do to help those that may not be in the path of this storm, but they want to help?
Well, that's up to everybody else. I don't mean to sound flippant here, but I'm going to try to, God gave me the ability to forecast the weather. That's where I'm going here. And, as far as those things, people have to pay attention to what charities they can contribute to or whatever they're being told and go where their heart moves them. Okay, Joe Bastardi of Weather Bell, thank you so much for your time and your insights today, sir. Thank you for having me. I always enjoy coming on. Thank you again. In other news, President Trump is going all out to promote his new tax plan. Today he's meeting in the Oval Office with congressional leaders on the issue. This afternoon he's holding a tax reform event with energy sector workers in Bismarck, North Dakota. And he's taking North Dakota Democratic Senator Heidi Heitkamp with him. In a press briefing Tuesday, the president laid out his plan to boost the economy.
We're going to cut taxes. We're going to reduce taxes for people, for individuals, for middle-income families. We're going to reduce taxes for companies, and those companies are going to produce jobs.
The plan aims to make the tax code as simple as possible, provide tax relief for middle-class workers and families, and restore a, quote, competitive edge for U.S. businesses. The president believes his plan will create millions of new jobs. Coming up, President Trump calls on Congress to deal with the Dreamers. What will it mean for hundreds of thousands of people living illegally in America? And welcome back. Strong reaction from congressional leaders to President Trump's decision to phase out the DACA program. DACA was an Obama administration executive order that gave children of undocumented immigrants a chance to obtain work permits and go to school. Amber Strong has a look at the White House's plan and reaction from politicians.
The decision is in when it comes to Dreamers. I'm Amber Strong at the White House. Attorney General Jeff Sessions laid out the administration's plan when it comes to the future for DACA recipients.
I'm here today to announce that the program known as DACA that was effectuated under the Obama administration is being rescinded.
According to the statement from the president, that means no new applicants, but existing permits will not expire for another 6 months and remain active for up to 2 years. That 6-month wind down puts the ball in Congress's court. Tuesday morning, the president tweeted, "Congress, get ready to do your job. DACA, or Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, applies to children brought to the U.S. illegally by their parents. Under an Obama administration executive order, they were allowed to obtain work permits as long as they adhered to strict guidelines, including graduating from high school or obtaining a GED, an honorable discharge from the military, and remaining free from felonies." In a press conference, Sessions criticized President Obama's decision to implement DACA in the first place, calling it presidential overreach.
The policy was implemented unilaterally to great controversy and legal concern after Congress rejected legislative proposals to extend similar benefits on numerous occasions to this same group of illegal aliens.
Former President Barack Obama also weighed in on today's decision. In a statement, he wrote, "These Dreamers are Americans in their hearts, in their minds, in every single way but one, on paper. They were brought to this country by their parents, sometimes even as infants. They may not know a country besides ours." DNC Chairman Tom Perez also weighed in on today's decision.
Y es un programa legal. Reagan y Bush 1 usaron el poder identical para implementar programas similar que DACA.
Now it's up to Congress. Some members of the Senate, including Senator Lindsey Graham, have already put forth legislation hoping to deal with the 800,000 people impacted by today's announcement. I'm Amber Strong for CBN News at the White House.
CBN News spoke with two people deeply involved in the DACA debate. Reverend Tony Suarez is with the National Hispanic Leadership Conference, which has been working with President Trump to find a solution for the Dreamers. Andrea Gonzalez is a dreamer whose life could be affected if Congress doesn't take action. Heather Sells spoke with them right after Attorney General Sessions made the announcement.
Andrea, I'm curious, for you and your sister and other people that you know, how does this sit with you today?
Well, in one sense, I was expecting it. I was expecting something very drastic to happen, and it did. However, I was telling my father the other day, I was like, Dad, I'm scared. I don't know what is going to happen, but at the same time, I'm very confident that whatever happens, God is going to take care of us, all DACA students, all dreamers, because I believe that in a very hard way, God uses these things to teach us how to depend on Him in ways that we could not. And God uses all these difficulties for us to turn to Him. And so in this sense, maybe this is something that I've been looking for, that I've been longing for, like the American dream that I can't have, or that it's delayed in a sense, but I'm hopeful that somebody will continue to fight for us.
Yeah, and speaking of fighting, we want to talk to Reverend Tony Suarez about that and see where this fight is going to go. So what is your response to the announcement today? Basically, they're saying we're ending the program, but they're putting the onus on Congress.
Yeah, exactly. Well, all of this took place because of Congress's inaction, which enabled President Obama to take action at that time. But Congress has continued to delay and not give us a permanent solution. We knew that this would be a temporary program. The first word of DACA is deferred, which essentially meant we won't deport you today, but it's being deferred to a later date. It was up for an extension. President Obama, at this point, I would say rather than end the program, he is dissolving the program. He's giving an extension for those that currently are a part of the program. He's giving them a 2-year window, and he's putting pressure on Congress to act in the next 6 months. Now, the NHCLC is saying that's not enough. We can't wait another 6 months. We've been waiting 30 years. So Reverend Rodriguez and the NHCLC, we're launching a campaign today asking that in the next 60 days, Congress give us a permanent solution. It's not a Republican or Democratic issue. This is a life issue of people like Andrea who they've lived in this country. They deserve this proverbial American dream. These are good people that go to school with our children that are born American citizens, and we worship together, and it's time that Congress finally act. Now, those members of Congress that are tweeting about the DACA decision today, in my humble opinion, need to stop tweeting, and they need to get in an office and start working on permanent legislation, draft something, get it to Speaker Ryan, and let's pass it so that the White House can sign it, and we can save over 800,000 children that do not deserve to suffer the consequences of the sins of their parents.
Yeah, well, it really does seem like an interesting moment, and it does seem like the national spotlight is on Dreamers, is on these immigrants who really need some kind of legal solution. Andrea, for yourself, you have been able to work, you have been able to go to school because of the DACA program. So if it ends, what might you do? What would be your scenario?
Well, if it ends, that it would, have me worried. I want to help my parents. They gave it everything for me, so I want to give what I have to them, and that would make my future very insecure. I'm actually going back to finish school in October, and that kind of puts a damper on it if it truly does end, if this is the end of the road for us. But I believe that there's more.
You can see the full interview with Tony Suarez and Andrea Gonzalez at cbnnews.com. A film based on a true story driven entirely by college students. A new movie comes out this week. It's called Extraordinary, and it's made by students from Liberty University. Director and Liberty Professor Scotty Curley sat down in Studio 5 with Ephraim Graham to talk about the film based on a true story of marathon runner Dave Horton.
Scene 45, Baker, take 3, A marker. So the film is called Extraordinary.
That's right.
And this is a student-produced film?
Yeah, so it's the first student-driven film to be released in theaters nationwide.
Wow. Tell me, how did this project all begin and why Dave Horton?
Yeah, so Dave was actually a professor of mine, and he was one of the people who inspired me to dream big dreams and really put the Lord first and go after them. And so what we wanted to do is make a movie that would be based upon true events or a true life story. And this was the perfect project for us to take on. And so 60 film students came together to make this movie.
So who is Dave Horton?
Yeah, so Dave Horton is an ultra-marathon legend. He holds several world records. He is the former record holder of the Pacific Crest Trail. He's the former record holder of the Appalachian Trail, the Long Trail. He has run enough miles to circle the earth 4.5 times. To recreate the journey across America, it's about his run from Huntington Beach, California to Central Park, New York. So we did that portion in 12 days across the United States.
Wow, so you made the journey as well.
Yeah, we sure did. We sure did.
Now, this is a story about him, this ultra marathon runner, but really it's also a story about marriage. Tell me why.
That's correct. You know, when we first took on this story, we thought it was about this inspirational guy who inspired, thousands of students throughout his career. But as we uncovered the layers of the story, we began to realize that, wow, yes, Dave is extraordinary for what he's done, but there's this whole other person that has been praying for him, encouraging him, really been there, been the foundation, and that's his wife, Nancy.
What about marriage? What about fatherhood?
Your family, they seem like something to run to.
It's been such a journey, really diving into the story and finding that surprise. Wow, there's this incredible woman behind this whole story.
Let's talk about the casting in the film. Some pretty big names, especially in the Christian film world.
Yeah.
Hard to get them on board?
When they understood the story, when they realized the potential impact of this marriage journey, they came on board because they knew the potential that it had.
Maybe Dave is giving you everything that he can give you right now.
What if it's not enough? And when did serving God become not serving your family?
Sherry Rigby plays Nancy Horton, and she was in October Baby, the Irwin brothers, directed that movie. Tremendously talented actress, and when we were looking for that perfect Nancy, we had auditioned several people, and when we saw Sherry Rigby, we said, "This is our Nancy." We found her. We finally found her.
When we started this life together, I promised for better or worse, sickness and in health.
Dave Horton is played by Leland Clausen. What's interesting about Leland, he's a Canadian comic. He is super famous in Canada. Like, everybody knows this guy, And he wasn't really a runner. He looks like a runner. He's thin, he's fit. So he had to adopt and learn about Dave and about running. So it actually integrated into, becoming Dave Horton.
I'm a teacher. Students look up to me because I do what I set out to do. I gotta lead by example. And just God has given me this ability to run.
Kirk Cameron plays the role of DJ Barry Armstrong. And so he's the guy that kind of, does the commentary as to what's going on, kind of explains the backstory.
How many days does this insanity take?
64 days.
64 days!
Karen Abercrombie, of course, tremendously talented actress. War Room, the star of War Room, along with T.C. Stallings. And Karen actually plays Nina, Nancy Horton's best friend.
But if he senses that you don't respect him, that you don't support him.
Nina, you have a husband that you can respect, and somebody that actually wants to be with you.
But where does not supporting Dave get you?
What's Dave think of all this?
What's interesting is Dave Horton, when I asked him if I could tell the story, he just had one simple request. He said, just make a good movie. That was it. It was that simple. He just said, make a good movie. Now, Nancy Horton had a condition, and her condition was, she said, "Scotty, this journey was very difficult for me, and I don't want you to sugarcoat this. I want you to be honest about how hard it was for me.
Because what he chooses to do, his life, takes a toll on his marriage.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. You know, I think the challenge with us men, and Dave as well, myself as well, is that sometimes we put our identities in the wrong things. You know, we focus on that career aspect, and there's nothing wrong with being driven, but we find our identity in a title. I want to be the VP, or I want to be the CEO. And in Dave's case, I want to be a world-class runner. But what happens when you can no longer run? Then who are you? What happens when you lose that job? Then who are you? You know? And so when our validation, our self-esteem is wrapped up in these titles, you know, our emotions, you know, have a roller coaster effect. And so the story really focuses around following Christ and having your focus and your self-worth and your identity in Jesus Christ. I think the beauty of this is, you know, not only is it a movie about legacy and marriage, but it's also the first student-driven movie. So imagine all these students making a movie, a legacy movie that will have impact for years to come.
The film comes out Thursday, September 7th, in a Fathom event across the country. We'll be right back. Finally today, as another deadly storm threatens our country, we here at CBN News would like to encourage our audience to pray for those in the path of that storm. The Bible says in James 5:16, the prayer of a righteous person is powerful and effective. We'll be hosting live prayer on our CBN News Facebook page, asking God to weaken this storm, to turn it away, and to protect those in its path. And we encourage you to join us. Well, that's it for now on CBN NewsWatch. You can find more of our exclusive coverage of the issues you care about most at cbnnews.com, and tell us what you think about the stories you've seen here. You can do that by emailing newswatch@cbn.com. Have a great day.